Greetings, this is the Grumpy Old Sland, and today we're going to look at magic user cantrips in Unearthed Arcana. Cantrips. Cantrips are the magic spells learned and used by apprentice magic users and illusionists during their long, rigorous, and tedious training for the craft of magic use. An aspiring magic user or illusionist may use one cantrip per day as a zero-level neophyte minus 2000 XP to minus 1001 XP, two cantrips per day as a zero-level initiate minus 1000 to minus 501 XP, and three cantrips per day as a zero-level apprentice minus 500 to 1 XP. Cantrips must be memorized just as higher level spells are. Most cantrips are simple little spells of no great effect, so when the individual becomes a first level magic user, the knowledge and information pertaining to these small magics are discarded in favor of the more powerful spells then available. However, a magic user may opt to retain up to 4 cantrips in place of one first level spell. This assumes that the magic user has, in fact, retained his or her book of cantrips, a tome as large as a good-sized book of higher-level spells. All cantrips are zero level, have a 1-inch range, have a generally small area of effect, require only soft, simple verbal and somatic components, and are cast in a very short time, 1/10 to half a segment. Only those which involve living creatures afford any saving throw. Individuals in a state of extreme concentration, such as when casting a spell, do not have that concentration broken by person-affecting cantrips. The effects of cantrips, and the people and items affected by them, radiate a very faint magic aura. The casting of cantrips. Cantrips are basically cast the same way that spells are cast. Note that despite their simple components and short casting times, only 2 cantrips can be cast during any round by a single magic user or apprentice. Furthermore, the segment of the round in which the cantrip is cast is dependent on the usual factors: surprise, initiative, and so on. After the first of the 2 cantrips is cast, the magic user must roll a 4-sided die to determine how many segments later he or she will be able to cast the second cantrip if so desired. It is not possible for a magic user to cast a spell and a cantrip during the same round, no matter how short the casting times are. Cantrips are grouped according to general effects or purpose into 6 categories: useful, reversed, legerdemain, person-affecting, personal, and haunting sound, plus a 7th available only to illusionists, minor illusion cantrips. Any magic user or illusionist has the potential to know cantrips in all of the categories. I'm not going to read every single cantrips description here. We're just going to go quickly over them. But before that, I want to quickly discuss the text we've just looked at. So first of all, we see how an apprentice, an aspiring magic user, will level up starting at minus 2000 XP and going all the way 0, and thus becoming a first level magic user. And this is something we see with other classes in Unearthed Arcana. We have the Cavalier, which can start at negative XP and slowly makes his way up to being a first level Cavalier, gaining XP as you go along. I don't recall if any specific rules are given for starting at 0 level and working your way up to a first level magic user in Unearthed Arcana. At least some of that information is in that first paragraph. So as mentioned, a first level magic user will be able to memorize up to 4 cantrips instead of a first level spell. However, we'll see their usefulness in adventure might be somewhat limited. So we have first the useful cantrips, which are chill, clean, color, dampen, dry, dust, exterminate, flavor, freshen, gather, polish, salt, shine, spice, sprout, stitch, sweeten, tie, warm, and wrap. All of these will either affect the taste of food, though not the quality of the food itself, You can also do minor household tasks, dusting, cleaning, etc. The idea being these cantrips are there to help you get through your day doing all the chores that your master is requiring. You then have the reversed cantrips, which are essentially the same as the useful ones, but in reverse. So you'll have curdle and dirty and dusty and hairy and knot and revel and sour and spill, tangle, tarnish, untie, and wilt. Spells that apprentice might learn to pull pranks on other apprentices or other people they come into contact with. I can actually see how some of those could be useful in an adventure. Even some of the useful cantrips could potentially have some usefulness, but very limited. We then have the Legerdemain cantrips, change, which allows you to modify an object. You can't completely change it, but you could turn a piece of paper into a piece of cloth or one kind of flower into a different one. The effects of the spell don't last long, but it might be long enough to fool somebody. Distract, which will distract the person affected by it. Hide, which will allow the caster to hide an object. Mute, which will change the shape of an object, specifically things that are minerals, so glass, metal, stone, things like that. And it's mute in the sense of transmuting. Palm, which allowed the caster to take something in their hand without appearing to do so. Present, which allows the caster to have an object that's nearby appear in their hand. So a lot of these actually seem to reenact real world magic tricks, as though the very smooth sleight of hand that real life magicians used maybe doesn't exist in the D&D world and is actually replaced by actual real magic. We then have person affecting cantrips: belch, blink, cough, giggle, nod, scratch, sneeze, twitch, wink, and yawn. All these will affect a person, though they get a saving throw, and this could potentially be used in a role-playing situation. Then there are what are known as personal cantrips. These are maybe the more useful ones in the sense of being in an adventure. The first one is bee, which allows you to summon one bee. The bee is likely to be annoyed and has a good chance of trying to sting any living creature it will find itself on. Next, there's blue light, which is a very, very muted light spell. It's a very faint blue light that only lights up an area 5 feet around itself. Bug will be kind of like the bee cantrip. Fire Finger allows you to create a small flame in your hand. Gnats will, again, like the bee and bug spells, summon some gnats. Mouse will do the same, but with a mouse. Smoke Puff will cause a puff of smoke to appear at a desired location. The caster will be able to choose the color of the smoke. Spider, another one of the animal summoning cantrips. Tweak, this will allow the caster to magically tweak the cheek or nose or ear of another person or creature. Again, could cause some distraction. Unlock, this allows the caster to conjure up a key that could be used to unlock a simple basic lock. It could be thought of as conjuring a skeleton key. Then there are the haunting sound cantrips, which all create the illusion of sounds. So a creak, footfall, groans, moans, rattles, taps, thumps, and whistles. As you can see, quite a few of these cantrips could have a bit of use in certain circumstances in a dungeon or an urban adventure or any situation that would be role played by the players. That said, I'm not sure if 4 of those will outweigh a first level spell, which you have to sort of sacrifice in order to memorize 4 of them. And the irony is that by the time you have enough spell slots to feel that, yeah, I can afford to give up a first level spell for all that, you're probably at such high level that the cantrips are even less interesting than otherwise. In that sense, the 5e rule that cantrips can essentially be cast at will could make some sense. I find it makes more sense for cantrips like these that have a very limited effect. I think every DM will have to decide how they want to handle them, or if they want to include them at all. Spells that only NPCs have access to. The other thing about some of the illusion cantrips and some of the other cantrips is that if a magic user has cast a spell of some sort, he could cause a cantrip to affect the morale of his or her opponents. There's room for roleplay with cantrips. I'm just not sure if I like sacrificing of a first level spell. You might be able to say that a magic user can memorize one cantrip per level per day, in addition to the number of spells that are outlined in the player's handbook. The other possibility is to have them cast at will, which I like a lot less, because it breaks the Vancian magic that is crucial to D&D. This is quite an addition to the magic user's arsenal. Not a very powerful one, but it could be one that would allow a magic user a very low level to appear more powerful, to have a whole bunch of cantrips that he casts here and there to establish that he's a magician who can use magic, quote unquote, at will. And then when he goes off on actual adventures, memorizes his one first level spell and hopes for the best to survive the adventure. I kind of like cantrips. They could be fun, but I find that them encroaching on the first level spells rubs me the wrong way because there's no rule like this about, oh, you can give up on a second level spell slot and that'll allow you to memorize more first level spells. So why have it for cantrips? It feels odd. I would have just added to the capabilities of magic users. They're such limited use, they would just allow a magic user to do some more of the fake magic that magic users are known to do with things like colored chalk or herbs, incense, and things like that, with a fake casting a spell, hoping that their audience will fall for it. The cantrip could just enhance that a little bit more. This has been the Grumpy Old Slan taking a look at cantrips in Unearthed Arcana, and I'll see you next time.